Has anyone else's testimony ever inspired you to want to follow Christ?
I think after salvation, yes. I've seen people come to Christ, and you know, it has inspired me to pursue Christ more, man. To see his power at work in someone's life, you know, to see transformation take place, and then to see, you know, a genuine work of the Lord take place, man. That it just reminds you that God is still working,
right?
You know, he's still convicting, he's still changing, because, you know, the world sometimes it just inundates you with, like, you know, godlessness,
for sure,
and you know, this secular, you know, way of living. And sometimes it's good to see the Lord work authentically in someone's life. Someone that really encouraged me recently is Joe.
Yeah.
Caban.
Okay. Yeah. Man,
I don't know if he's
yes.
on right now.
Yes.
But when we chopped it up, we were actually walking and just sharing the gospel. He was just sharing with me what the Lord was doing. That inspired me, man. It is very inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Like,
him and Shayreen.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, man. To see what the Lord is doing in their lives, man, and then to be a part of it, just them being around.
Yeah.
And then just seeing this eager, like, desire, this genuine desire to know Christ more through the scriptures. And he's talking about how everything's changed. You know, so to hear that, to see the Lord still working in people's lives is inspiring. It builds up our faith, and it should.
Yeah.
It should. Yeah.
I know this is going to sound cliche, but I love to read Paul or Saul, his conversion story. Because he was an enemy of God. Mm-hmm. An enemy of God, literally, like all the rest of us. But he literally persecuted the church.
Yeah.
And to see how God woke him up and made him realize he was chasing, what does he say? Chasing the goads or kicking the goads, kicking against the goads or something like that. To make him realize that he was fighting the wrong enemy. God is there for you. And Paul was fighting against someone who's trying to save him. And so hearing Paul's story, seeing the way God converts him and transforms his life, and looking at the rest of Paul's life and the way his faith is displayed through the actions and in the obedience in his life, I love that. I love reading about Paul's missionary trips and reading his personal accounts and his letters. I know it sounds cliche, but I love it, and it inspires me to want to follow Christ. Overall, looking at this episode and all of the things that we talked about, I would like to say this, is that coming to grace testimonies can be effective for reaching people, right? But abiding in grace testimonies are even more helpful in the long run. So in the long run, I think those are more helpful, the abiding in grace testimonies. Many Christians discredit their actual earliest memories of conversion, highlighting later turning points as the moment when they truly got it. They'll ignore those early moments when God was pulling them for those dramatic, I was in the middle of passing out with the liquor and God lifted my head off the ground and kissed my forehead. No, they'll discredit the earliest moments that God was really pulling them, right? And I also want to say this, is that there isn't room for real failures. It's hard to talk about our past brokenness. It's nearly impossible to talk about our current brokenness, especially because of the undeniable pressure to fit the mold in contemporary churches, right? It's easy to talk about how we were broken before, but it's not easy to talk about how we're broken now. Those testimonies now of being broken right now, right? And we're doing a harming to our representation of Christianity if we discount the struggles, the sins, and all these low moments as non-faith periods. Because we present the idea that real faith is without temptation, failure, or dry spells. Right? Yeah. So I want to encourage you guys to share your continual testimony.
That's good. Yeah.
You know, I want to encourage you guys to share that. Testimony is not just a looking back, it's also a looking at, and it's a looking forward to the grace that God has for us. So I just want to end it right there, guys. Don't be scared to share your continual testimony, your abiding in grace testimonies. Definitely share your coming to grace ones, but make sure that it points to Christ, so that we don't run into another Flesh-imony moment.
Right.